Good morning. It is Friday morning, your time to be right here with us on the Daily Huddle, contemplating what it's like to be a leader in business. Today is Business and Leadership Day, and I welcome you. Wherever you're listening from, come on right here and be with us. You've heard the old adage, right? Love what you do, and you'll never work a day in your life. Well, that's easier said than done. Today's conversation, Gio and I are going to dance inside of a question called, how can you make every workday of your life the most fulfilling day of your life? But before we go there, I've got a question for my very good friend, Chase. Chase?
Yes, sir.
What did the fish say when he swam into a wall?
He said, goodness gracious, now I'm a flatfish. I just went with that.
That was good. But he slammed into the wall and said, damn. That's all he said. Damn.
Cursing fish. All right.
Welcome back. Welcome back. I've got a few questions to keep going. Cece, good morning. Go off mute and tell me, where are you and who are you going to hug today?
Good morning. I am here right now. And I'm going to hug somebody, some unknown person today, and spread some joy.
Oh my God, they are lucky to be in your arms and in your space. Welcome to the Daily Huddle, Cece. Rashida, good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
What time is it, Rashida, and what are you grateful for?
Time is now, right here, and the Daily Huddle.
And what are you grateful for?
Oh my goodness, breath itself. I am grateful for this fresh air that I breathe every time I wake up in the morning. I am so grateful for the universe.
It's not a small thing that you woke up, so I'm grateful for that too. Welcome to the Daily Huddle, Rashida. And
Thank you.
Chase, I'm going to come back to you and ask you, how are you, my friend?
I am pensive and hopeful.
And that's the way you say you are.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Well, everyone, welcome. Today's conversation harbors the possibility of truly finding fulfillment in every moment of your life. Now, the old adage I repeated earlier was, love what you do, and you'll never work a day in your life. Giovanni, you and I were speaking this morning, and we started twisting this thing a little bit. And in reality, there are times when you'll be working, doing whatever you're doing, and you will have no love at all for what it is you're doing. And yet, even in those moments, you can find fulfillment. So perhaps the saying could be misleading. Love what you do and you'll never work a day in your life. Giovanni and I today are inviting you to find another space. And that space is love who you are and what your life is for. And you'll want to work every single day of your life. And so, Giovanni, there are times in your life when you've worked and you weren't enjoying it at all. but something somewhere gave you the opportunity and the space to continue to persevere and to actually do what it is you were doing. And I love what you were sharing with me this morning as we were creating this conversation. And I'd love for you to jump in and share that perspective, because it's not always possible to be loving what you're doing. It may be possible to find fulfillment and joy in anything you're doing, but it takes a certain condition. So share with me a little bit, brother.
Yes, I really love this topic and the possibility of this topic. And I would imagine that most people at the Daily Huddle, they really like what they do. And they are reinventing themselves constantly to be better at what they do. But there are some occasions where there's a person who really doesn't like what they do. They don't like the environment that they're in. The people that they work with are not necessarily kind, gracious, compassionate, or they create an environment where people can challenge themselves in an uplifting way. And certainly that has been there for me. And I've been certainly in an environment like that and working with people who have made, in my view, really difficult conditions for somebody to love what they do, for them to love what to do. And I think that's where most people are at. I think most people find themselves in a job, not in a purpose-driven kind of environment. No, they find themselves in a job, and people connect with their paycheck as a possibility for coming back to work. And in some cases, some people connect with insurance, where at least I have insurance, or at least I have a paycheck, or at least I have something. And some people can't even connect to that, and they can't even be find a way to be grateful to have a job. Like they should have a different job, right? And these are conditions that are really an agony for people. But the counterintuitive aspect of these conditions is that waiting for somebody to create an environment where you love what you do is the pitfall.
Yeah.
That's the pitfall.
That is the big pitfall, because the very question itself points to loving what I'm doing, which is in many cases almost impossible in any given day, right? So what you're creating now, Gio, is inviting us to go into what we were creating earlier, which is perhaps we could say, love who you are and love what you're standing for, and you'll want to work every day in your life. There was a particular situation you were in that was quite difficult. As a matter of fact, you ended up not working at that place anymore. What was that like? What made it difficult? And when you got on the other side of it, what did you discover for yourself in terms of who you could be, even though it was difficult?
Yes. So looking back, it's reflection really helps to see the opportunity for growth, right? But at the time, I was working with someone who was a very traditional male in the context of leadership, right? And he will create an environment where he will diminish the heck out of you every day. And then he will send you in the back room to do online courses so that you can become better. And then he would tell, and this is not just for me.
And he probably said, go over there and do the course. And what you heard, hey, dummy, go get smarter.
Yeah, go get smarter. Go, I can't believe you talk that way. I can't believe you do things like that. And it was a diminishing environment for some people, for some of us. And then if people wouldn't align quickly or they wouldn't have the right attitude, he would say, across the street is McDonald's. You just
go work there.
Go work there. And he would say it out loud in front of people. And he would, after a while, he'd be like, man, you're rude. Like, this is rude. And he would be like, he had the power to be that way. And the leadership team empowered him to be okay, to be that way. And so for us, it was a really difficult environment to be in. And And so the conditions were in some degree somewhat toxic, if you will. However, what we're inviting you to look at is that there is a way to look at the environment you're in that you can see it as a training and development circumstances for your life. So after a while, I started looking at, how do I look at this man in a way in which I am grateful for the, for the awfulness that he is, not because I'm going to excuse his behavior, but I'm going to look at what he's seeing. I'm going to try to find a way, his hidden commitment on the reason why he was doing. And it is possible to look at the worst human being and still see a hidden commitment. And I'm exaggerating when I say worst human being, but it is possible to see a difficult behavior and you can find the commitment. And I could really see that although he didn't know much about how to create an environment for high performance or an environment for people to love what they do, but I could see that every time he would send somebody in the back of the room, there was a commitment for growth. Like he wanted people to grow. I could see that anytime somebody would roll their eyes and would do things or would say something to the environment, he would say, with that attitude, you're not going to grow. So he will counter the attitude with awful attitude. That didn't work, but you could see the commitment behind it. And when I started seeing him as my training and development platform for my life, for me to lead him, to influence him, we started creating a really interesting professional environment between him and I. And our differences were really real. And eventually I got transferred. However, I could completely see that man, how he saw things, prepared me exactly how he needed to be, prepared me for the future I have now. So that's a way in which one can see the environment one is in as a training and development opportunity for the future you want. And when I saw it that way, I had power.
And you say something that's really critical here, Gio. A training and development for the future I want. That puts in play the fact that knowing the future you want is a prerequisite for being able to be in any environment like that. So the challenge and the opportunity of this conversation, folks, is to begin to think, even right now, wherever you are, whether you're a solopreneur working for yourself, you're not working for the man or the woman anymore, I begin to look where you yourself or me myself, I am that boss that Gio worked for. And there is the way for me to see any circumstance, any environment, any task as the opportunity to train and develop me for the future I want. So what is the future I want? So for you, Gio, how did you come about seeing the future you want? Because mostly people walk around hoping that the future they want will fall in their laps. And I'm beginning to see that maybe the future I want isn't something I even know I want. It's not something that's going to fall in my laps. I literally have to say one day, in the context of the question we always ask, how are you? I am the way I say I am. There was the corollary question that says, well, what do you want? I want what I say I want. So when did you say what you wanted, and how did it become for you that future?
Yes. So at the time, and I hope some people can relate to this, at the time, I didn't have the language to say, what is the future I want necessarily. I couldn't even have the language to say, this is the house I want, or this is where I want to live, right? But I did have something that was really real for me, which was, I want to be better than where I am now.
Mhm.
I want to have more options than the ones that I have now. I did see myself creating a gap of success for myself. I wanted to continue to grow. I wanted to continue to grow in that company. I wanted to continue to grow as a human being. I wanted to continue to have more influence in others, be a positive impact to others. I wanted to continue to make more money. And so although I couldn't say exactly what was it that I would love to do, I could see for myself, I wanted more for my life. I wanted to create a bigger impact. I wanted to make more money. And so I wanted to be overall, I wanted to be a more successful human being. And just that future, right? If you're looking at this conversation and you say to yourself, yeah, I want to be more successful. That future, the possibility of being more successful, is the one that gave me the space to see the circumstances I was in exactly the way they are and the way they're not, exactly the way people are and the way that they're not, as a training opportunity. The idea was not to wish people were better. The idea was to see how I can become better to influence the environment.
Yeah, that is powerful, Gio. And that I'll say it, and then I'll ask you, how do people actually discover that for themselves or create that for themselves? You said it so glib and so cool, as if it's easy. I'm wondering if it was. So basically what I hear you say is this: I'm in this work environment. How I am in that work environment, the way the people are doesn't get to dictate that. The way the people aren't doesn't get to say how I am or how I feel or how fulfilled or how happy I am. I'm there because I'm training and developing myself. And therefore, any circumstance that shows up, any person that shows up, whatever they're doing or not doing, whatever they're saying or not saying, anything that shows up, whatever it is, that environment is throwing at me, is my opportunity to train and develop myself to close that gap you're talking about. So I get that really clear. But in the face of really bad situations or really tough times, how do you stay connected to your commitment to closing the gap?
Yes. So every now and then I get a little lucky, and I get people to tell me to buckle up. I get people to tell me things are not going to get better for you. So you need to grow. So for example, I had this work environment where I was at, where I really wanted to grow. I really wanted to grow in that company. I mean, I really wanted.
Yeah.
I wanted to get a master's degree just so that they can keep me. And I paid for it too. I mean, of course I should pay for it, but I mean, they pay for other people, but I didn't care. I wanted to stay. I wanted to stay in it. And the leader of this company always said, I just don't think you're good enough for this. And I did not want to buy that story. I'm not good enough for this. I mean, for crying out loud, don't tell me that, right? So I had a mentor that was helping me in that environment, in that work. And I went to her and I said, man, you need to train me. You need to train me to become better at this. This training environment that you have is terrible. Like you guys saw the training. And
Watch me do it and then go do it, right?
Yeah, like tell me what to do, really. Tell me, don't just tell me to stand here and shadow. And she said, man, you need to get something. Nobody is going to train you to be great. Nobody's going to do that. Not here, not anywhere. That's something you got to take on for yourself. You got to find a way to discover how to train yourself to be great. If you can't do that, this is definitely not for you. And if you can't do that, maybe life is not going to give you what you want. And man, even though she was like, they were supposed to make me better. Companies have trainings. They were supposed
departments, human resources, right? They're supposed to make you better.
And this is a big company. This is not a small startup. No, this is a huge company. And I really got it for myself. Nobody is going to train me to be great. And if I'm going to wait for that, then I'm not going to close that gap.
Yeah.
So I discovered for myself, found a way to train myself to be great. Right. And that didn't mean that I went on a closet and started, reading or I hide from the world. No, I took on the world. I took on creating new communities and being part of new communities and getting new mentors and constantly finding a way to get out of my way so that I can train myself. And so it was a kind of a declaration where a mix of declarations, Saurel. It was a declaration of the world is not going to train me to be great, so I'm going to get off it. I'm going to train myself. That was one. And the other declaration was, I want to make an impact in the world. I don't want to just live and die. And between those two, I got the wear of it all, right? To see the environment as a training opportunity, no matter how awful sometimes it is. And it was.
Wow. And so Giovanni, when I want the world to know that this weekend, you and a number of other Hispanic leaders and coaches and speakers are doing the third instance of the Conference for the Transformation of Latin America. And this morning, knowing that that's happening, I intended to celebrate what it takes to create something like that. And I also wanted to celebrate, folks, what it takes to create a partnership like the one Giovanni and I have. And you might think it's not mysterious. It's not like we were destined to be partners that way. And it wasn't like Gio was destined to be someone who created the Conference for the Transformation of Latin America. It's in what he's creating that he and I have nurtured over years. That declaration of which Giovanni's speaking, I want to share with you in its current state. It's going to evolve, it's going to morph, but I'm going to share it with you now. It's one statement. I'm going to read it, and then we're going to come back and take questions. When it comes to loving who I am and having every single workday be the most fulfilling day of my life and wanting to work until I die, because this is so driving me. This is my mission, the mission that Giovanni, myself, the rest of the MPB team creates for ourselves on a weekly basis so that we don't have to love what we do to never work, but we love who we are, and this is who we are, so that we want to work every single day of our lives, chasing this and to fulfill it. So here it is. My mission is creating a new paradigm for being human and the expression of leadership in the world. How am I? This is how I am. Who I am? This is who I am. What am I doing? I'm at life fulfilling this. Do I want to work? Heck yeah, I want to work. Do I love what I do? Sometimes I don't. But this is what I'm up to. So, Gio, thank you for your partnership. Thank you for creating the Conference for the Transformation of Latin America. Thank you for living as the fulfillment of this mission. Let's open it up for questions. Cece, you've had your hand up for 15 minutes.
Yay! Hola, ¿cómo está usted? Hi. I love this because the transformation within ourselves happens every time. For me, it happened every time I had to deal with a adverse supervisor, manager, or uncomfortable situation. And now, today, where I'm at, I count it all joy because it's hilarious the stuff that I put myself through to stay with a job. Now I am free. I'm free to create whatever I want, just like the birds and the bees. They don't have to worry about where their food is going to come from. Neither do I. All this other stuff, debt, bills, is not a worry. It's just something for me to move forward and take the appropriate action. So this is what I'm gathering, is that it's a change of my mindset, change of actions, and how I'm going to help somebody else or the world, the community right now. So thank you so much for letting me share that little bit.
Thank you, CC. Thank you. Ronald. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Great topic, guys. Great. You know, I really empathize very well with Giovanni on every single example that he gave. And what keeps coming to me is transformation is a constant process. And I can recall a few situations where you have this physical response to that God that sent you in the back of the room, you know, and I've been sent to the back of the room. I can really give a couple of examples where I feel the physical respond to that hidden commitment that they had for you. And in every time you get that physical reaction, that's where transformation happened. And you know, being in the work that we do, the transformation work that we do, that conversation allowed me to see how I've been transformed along the year. I mean, for myself, which, I mean, I do know that I re-engineered myself every once in a while. It, you know, depends on what's the situation is. I actually I understand, you know, that you know, the reaction that Giovanni has been. But to this, the question I want to ask though, and I love the mission statement, and I'm going to work on creating one for myself. I've been an advocate for love who you love what you do, and you will never work for a day. I told that to my kids every day, but I like the shifting. And what I want to ask you guys, how long did it take to create? And I think you weighted every single one of the word that is in that mission statement. How many reiteration that you guys had to go through to get to that?
I love that question. Thank you, Ronald. The first thing I want to tell you is it's not about grammar. It's not about getting it right. It's not wordsmithing. It is literally sitting together. And you can't do this alone.
Yeah.
It's literally sitting together and throwing your very emotions out. Giving yourself the opportunity to get caught by something. Like it catches you and it's so enlivens you, and you're so connected to it emotionally that you don't know how to say it. And you say it wrong, and you write it wrong, and everybody else say it wrong, write it wrong, and then you play with it. But what you never forget, even if the words are wrong, you never forget the emotional connection that you generated for yourself and that the group generated together. Gio, what do you want to add to that? Tell them how long it took us.
Well, it has been a work in progress, right? It's been like 8 years to create this, right? And it's always kind of been shifting and shifting. But the checking with the people you're with, right? Or checking for yourself. Is there something else I'd like to add, or is there something else that I'd like to take out? Is the looking that, for me, is the looking that reinvents me, right? That reprograms me, that that creates a space for the possibility for me to continue to create gaps that for myself that excites me, you know. But it's the looking. So like Saurel is pointing to, it's not the words, and the words, every single word means something to us, but it's not about that. It's about the looking, right? And if you work with a company, if you work by yourself, then you can't do this by yourself. I mean, if you work with people, you gotta include people in it, because it's also their looking that is exciting, right? And that's when they own it, it's like you own it 10 times more. It's like, whoa, yes, this is something, right? So it is that process of looking and creating that mission that that for me is where the power is when creating with others, when working with others. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you, Gio. And Ronald and everyone, the juice isn't actually just creating one. Don't wait until it's perfect. Create one. And then play with it every day. On a weekly basis, Giovanni, myself, the team, we actually generate and read this mission statement. And then we ask each other, so what's showing up newly for you? And then the emotional connection grows. And then something pops and we go, let's change this word. That's the word that resonates now. And then this organic kind of creation just makes it everybody's, but it also makes it something even bigger than that. It makes it the thing that you surrender to, that actually gives you the opportunity to live a fulfilling life every work day, regardless of the circumstances. So don't wait. Don't wait till it's perfect. Put it down on paper and give yourself over to it.
Yep.
All right, Gio, we'll take two more. Why not? Rashida and then Peter.
Good morning, my Daily Huddle family. Listen, I am so thrilled with this topic. And why I say I'm thrilled is because every morning I wake up and I say, oh, and my sister asked me on Wednesday when I went for my deep tissue massage, when you gonna retire? I said, retire? Retire? How the hell I'm gonna retire if I ban retire? You crazy? And she said, how you ban retire? I said, I make myself retire. Trust me, you all guys let me know that I can go to the drawing board every single day of my life if I want, because I can trigger and put and remove and put up more. Trust me, guys, you are give me out this morning. I loved it. I loved it. I am going to stay retired. I'm going to go to the drawing board as long as I live, because I can change anything if I put it into my mind. And with that, I'm out, but I'm still here loving you all guys.
Rashida, I love you and I love it. Peter.
Yeah, guys, good morning. Very timely topic, Gio. And I resonate with it as an immigrant. You know, we know that we got to sometimes put more stoppers on it. But my conclusion based on it is that boldness, creativity, and curiosity will always beat talent and education when applied. And that's basically what I got to say.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, Gio, time flies, brother. We'll end it on this note. Yeah, it's good to love what you do and never work a day in your life. Consider it. It may be better to fall in love with who you are and be so emotionally connected to what you're standing for that you want to work every single day of your life until the last drop, until the last breath. Yes, you can make every work day the most fulfilling day of your life. This is who we are. Jill, let them go with our 8 or 7 tenets, brother. Let's close the day.
Awesome. Thank you, Saurel. So for this weekend for the rest of your life, but take on this weekend. Love. Love. A place to come from, not a place that you look towards. Something you come from. For anyone you like and you don't like. The people have voted for the people you like, and the people that voted the people that you didn't like. Love. Smile, stretch your cheeks, laugh out loud until your belly hurts. It might just create the rest of your life. Sleep more. Make sure you sleep at least 7 hours. You've got to sleep. This is critical for health and wellness. Sleeping is important. If you can't sleep, pick up a book. Read the book. Read the book. Your brain will say, okay, I'm done. I'm going to sleep. Eat more plant-based. Get closer to the trees. Hug the trees. Eat the trees. Eat more plant-based. Save the animal for tomorrow. Run. Every day, do a little moving. Every single day, 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes after lunch, every single day, move a little bit. And if you want to dance while you're doing it, it's even better. And then always make sure you check your assumptions. Check yourself before you write yourself. Check your assumptions.
And Gio, before we close completely, I want to say this because it's right there to say, today is episode 800 of the Daily Huddle.
Episode 800. I love
Episode
it. Well done,
800.
Sarah.
Now, inside of the question, how do you get the stamina to create something like that? We weren't creating that. We were just being in life, fulfilling something called creating a new paradigm for being human and the expression of leadership in the world. I love you. Giovanni loves you more. We'll be right here through episode 1000 at least, every weekday morning on the Daily Huddle. Welcome home.
Thank you. Excellent job. Bye now.
Buenos
Excelente.
días, Carmen. Buenos días.
Buenos días. Excelente. Excellent. Beautiful.